What's up, movie lovers? I'm Mike, and this is Gotta Love Them Movies. Oh, you guys, welcome back to another episode of Gotta Love Them Movies, your daily dose of movie news. I'm your host, Mike Brown. I'm here all the time. And ladies and gentlemen, today is a beautiful, Tuesday afternoon? Tuesday, October 13th, 4 o'clock on the PM here on the eastern seaboard of the United States. Thank you so much for taking a little bit of time out of your day to spend with us to talk about movies and movie news and, be a part of the discussion. If at any point you want to jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts about whatever it is that we're talking about, go ahead and jump down and be part of the conversation. We'll address all of your questions at the end of the show in our live questions segment. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to start off with I don't know if it's it's not a sentimental note. It's more of a regretful note. If you've ever watched the show, you know that I always end the show by, putting out a plea to people to speak kind words to each other, to infuse a little bit of kindness into the world. Well, today I had an opportunity to infuse a little bit of kindness and to speak kind words. And you know what? I didn't take the opportunity. And it was an online Facebook discussion back and forth and things. If you're familiar with anything of what's going on in my life, in my other life, I work as a flight attendant. I've been furloughed from the flight attendant job, and having to apply for unemployment, blah blah blah. So anyway, I put out some help, or rather, I was asking for help from this one particular Facebook group. My post was denied, saying, "Oh, well, even though this is a furloughed flight attendants help forum, you should post that in another group." And I'm like, "What? This is crazy. This is insane to me." All of this is to say, I got in a little bit of an argument with one of the admins from the group. I'm not going to say her last name. Her first name is Amanda. I'm pretty sure Amanda is not watching the show right now, but if anybody knows... if anybody in the flight attendant community is watching this right now and you happen to know about this involuntary furloughed Facebook group, and you know the admin named Amanda, can you please reach out to her and let her know that I genuinely, sincerely apologize. I tried to apologize afterwards, but that was after she blocked me. So I just wanted to put out a public apology there. I had an opportunity for kindness. I didn't take it. I was feeling vindictive in the moment, and that was the wrong course of action. I should not have taken that action. So I just wanted to apologize publicly because I can't reach out privately. Anyway, so that being said, let's go ahead and move on with the main portion of our show. And helping me bring on the main portion of the show today, a former guest of ours, a good friend of mine, a huge movie pundit. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for my very good friend, Mr. Todd Collins. Woo, woo, woo! Todd, how's it going,
Thanks,
man?
Mike. Glad to be back. It's going really well. How are you doing?
Oh, sleep, bacon, movies, and beer. I'm digging it.
Those are my love.
Oh, love, literally. Yeah, I should have stopped to look at the entire shirt before I spoke entirely. Todd, what's new in your world? What movies have you been watching?
Well, we've been trying to get into the Halloween spirit, this being October, and the 13th. In October. I mean, what a great day for feeling the spirit of scary and spooky. So we've been watching a lot of family friendly Halloween themed stuff. Most recently watched Pooh's Heffalump Halloween movie, and we watched the Addams Family, the animated one from last year, and we actually went back and watched the one from the 90s that actually I had totally forgotten included. They went really heavy with the MC Hammer music in that one.
Totally did. It's
and it took me out of time. And
it was the kind
of
thing that I appreciated then, and I feel like I appreciate even more now because what's the world without MC Hammer? I mean, let's get a little more Hammer in our lives, right?
We need more parachute pants again, which I hear are coming back.
Are
right?
they?
I thought somebody had mentioned that to me the other day, that parachute pants are making a comeback.
I hope so. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah,
I've always
crossed.
been a big fan of like the late 90s baggy kind of, not necessarily Jinkos. I was never a Jinkos wearer. Those were too big, too baggy for me. But, just kind of like those loose cargo pants. I always enjoyed the freedom of movement in those particular styles.
Yeah, it was a relaxed look.
Agreed. And speaking of all things comfortable, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to move on with the show today. We've got a few things to talk about in the world of movies and movie news. But before we can, first I need to tell you how to subscribe to the YouTube channel. First of all, go over to youtube.com, type in GottaLoveThemMovies. You'll see a little red square in the top right-hand corner that says subscribe. Go ahead and click that button. What clicking that button does is it helps us to widen our subscriber base. But Mike, you say, we're watching this show on Facebook Live. Why do we have to go over to YouTube and click on your subscribe button? Well, it's really rather simple, and I'm really glad that you asked that question, because once we get enough subscribers, then we begin to qualify for ad revenue. And we have enough ad revenue, then I can make this show my full-time job. So I'd really appreciate you going over to YouTube, clicking that subscribe button, and supporting the channel. And of course, once we hit 1,000 subscribers, the show will be moving from Facebook to YouTube. So, just something to be on the radar and look out for. All right, guys, so with all that done and out of the way, let's take on a little bit of movie news. What? All right. So there's a few things in the world of entertainment that are new that we should talk about. First and foremost, this is kind of sad, borderline devastating news. AMC theaters. If you are familiar at all with AMC theaters, you would know that they are, first and foremost, the largest theater chain in the world, period. The largest theater chain in the world. I'm not entirely sure what percentage of the box office that they make up. If I had to guess, if I had to put out a pure guess, it would be somewhere in the 20% range. That's a lot. AMC theaters single-handedly in my I'm sure somebody could probably Google it and get an actual answer for me, but if I had to guess off the top of my head, 20% of the entire box office rake comes from AMC theaters. That is that's 1/5. 1/5. Well, here's the thing. In a few years ago, they started rolling out their Dolby AMC theaters. They started upgrading all their theaters not just across the United States, but across the world, throughout the world. They put themselves $5 billion in debt, creating these AMC Dolby theaters, the luxury seating, like the lay flat seats. They have like luxury, order food from your seat and people will come out and deliver to you. They also have the AMC A-List membership, which is incredible. For depending on what part of the country you live in, either $20 or $25 a month, you get to see up to three movies a week. 3 movies a week. If you live in New York City, that's pay for one movie ticket and you get to see 3 movies a week. That is an incredible. Actually, no. $25 a month, and you get to see 3 movies a week. So it's a fraction of what a full price movie ticket actually costs. It's a great deal. So they spent all this money making all these wonderful products. They got themselves into $5 billion in debt, that's a lot of debt, but it was planned. What was not planned was the COVID-19 pandemic. AMC theaters being $5 billion in debt, nobody could have ever planned or anticipated a pandemic or like a financial crisis on this level worldwide. Nobody could have ever thought or planned for this. But here's the thing. They've gone out and they've got a little bit of funding. I think they raised about $40 million in like between crowdsourcing and getting other sponsors on board to try and help them out of this incredible financial crisis that, everybody's in, but specifically AMC Theaters is in right now. And just yesterday, they reported that they only have enough cash. If everything stays the same, if nothing changes from here on out, they will run out of money by the end of the year. Maybe the beginning of 2021, depending on how they spend it, depending on how many theaters that they close down permanently. Now, last week, we reported that Cineworld from Europe, who is the parent company of Regal, the Regal Cinemas in the United States, last Thursday, they shut their doors. They shut down completely. They're kind of done for a while until we get through the pandemic. They're ceasing all operations. And AMC and Cinemark Theater said, hey, we're going to stay open because we kind of have to stay open. So with all these new movies still coming out, we're going to do our part, and we're going to, feature all these new movies. But here's the thing, you guys. No Time to Die, James Bond, they cut and ran. Black Widow, that got pushed back to 2021. Soul is going to Disney Plus, and Dune has been pushed back. I mean, we don't have any new movies coming out except for Wonder Woman 1984, which comes out on Christmas Day, and even that I'm not hopeful for. So there's no new movies to play in 2020 for the rest of the year. And if AMC runs out of money by the end of the year, what are they going to do? Like, what are they going to do? Todd, this is pretty devastating news. Like, this is huge. This is absolutely monstrous. We are potentially looking at the end of the theater going experience, because if AMC falls, who's next in line? Do you see this as an absolute horrible destruction to the industry? And if not, like, where what other thoughts do you have? Like, where do you sit on this?
I mean, it's devastating. I feel for the theaters, the chains, their employees. It's really a terrible thing. Like you said, who could have predicted? Okay, so there's an outbreak, and it's going to affect a portion of the world. No, this is global, and they have theaters everywhere that they've had to shut down. And I especially felt for them, given that they were trying to stay open. They didn't want to have to close their doors. I think we saw the power of filmmakers, that the directors do have some say, like Christopher Nolan with Tenet was able to push to keep that in theaters. I'd like to see more of that from Hollywood. More of those people kind of stepping up and saying, let's keep our theaters alive. I'm surprised. You work for the airlines. You know that in certain industries there is such a thing.
Yeah.
Bailouts. Why not a theater bailout?
Exactly. Why not a theater bailout? I think that raises a great point. I mean, it's not just, hey, let's save our movie theaters, because if movie theaters go away, if movie theaters fold up and close, that's the domino effect. First of all, if AMC falls, and I'm just making a guesstimate projection of 20% that AMC represents in the box office. But that also means that Regal, being the number 2 box office rake in the United States, they're probably pretty close to 20% themselves. I mean, Cineworld, it's, they're owned by Cineworld, which is a global company. So let's go ahead and say 18%. So we're at 38% right now of the box office just gone. Who's going to show the movies? Landmark? Cinemark? Yeah. Okay. But if you don't have AMC and if you don't have Regal, if they financially cannot support themselves, and then the dominoes start falling, Okay, great. There's no more movie theaters. How is the studio going to earn its money? It's not. You can put stuff out on Disney Plus. You can put stuff out on Hulu, sell it to Netflix. But you're not going to make anywhere near as much money as what you could in the movie theater, which is why we've had these exhibition houses for decades. I dare say a millennia at this point. This is an industry problem. Oh, poor Hollywood, they can't make their movies. Man. We're talking about literally millions of people out of work worldwide. You know, it's an industry problem. And you say, like, airlines are getting bailed out, banks are getting bailed out, local businesses are getting bailed out. Why can't we bail out theaters? And not just movie theaters. Yes, there's movie theaters, but also I work as a comedian as well. What about like Broadway? What about local like stage theaters? Those are folding up too. They can't stay in business. They can't open their doors without funding.
You're officially not allowed to draw
officially not allowed. Todd, do you think that this is something that's actually going to let me give you a 50%. Sorry, I'm like gathering my thoughts as I speak. 50% over under. Do you think that the movie theaters, as we know them currently, or rather as we knew them a year ago, do you think that they will survive this? 50% over under.
I'm going to be optimistic and say yes. I think they will survive. I think you've got a passionate movie-going fan base that don't want to see exhibition theaters gone forever. It's such a collective movement to share those emotional reactions in a theater with a crowd of people laughing together, being scared together. Just imagine how to market a found footage horror movie if you can't show all the preview screening jump scare reactions. It's just not going to work.
It's true. Anyway, guys, question is for you. Do you think that movie theaters are going to be able to survive this? Do you think AMC theaters is going to be able to survive this? Do you think that somebody is going to step up and give them financial aid? And if you do, who do you think that's going to be? Is it going to be Amazon? Do you think Amazon could potentially be an investor for AMC theaters? I mean, we have had, the Paramount laws saying that, movie theaters and studios need to be at a distance from each other, the exhibition versus the studio. But is all that going to change? What are your thoughts? Jump on down to the comment section below and let me know your thoughts. All right, guys, moving on to our next bit of movie news. And again, this is a bit of a game changer. The Walt Disney Company has announced that it will be doing a dramatic restructuring of its company. Now, I spent some time and I went through a whole bunch of different articles. I went through the Collider and Deadline and the Hollywood Reporter and Variety, and I tried to piece together all of what it is that they're saying. What is this announcement? It's kind of specific, but it's also kind of vague. They are saying that, for the most part, the Disney Company but in addition to their live action big budget movies and films and whatever, whether it's through Disney or Pixar or Marvel or Lucasfilm or 20th Century, they dropped the Fox, now they're just calling themselves 20th Century, or Disney's calling it 20th Century or Searchlight, whatever banner it's under, they are going to be putting a much larger focus on Disney Plus, on Hulu, and ESPN Plus. I think there's a few other streaming platforms that Disney has. But yeah, they are going to be doing more of a push when it comes to their film and television production to streaming as opposed to the big screen. Now, that doesn't mean that they're not going to be doing big, big screen, silver screen, or I'm sorry, not silver screen, the big screen films. They most definitely will be. providing if movie theaters are still around. But this is a way for Disney to kind of put into place a safeguard or a safety catch. Hey, we're going to scale things down a little bit. We're still going to keep like a decent production value. I mean, look at the Winter Soldier, or Falcon and Winter Soldier. Look at WandaVision, Loki, like pretty much all the Marvel stuff that they're doing. Mandalorian has a really high production value. They're going to still keep like a decent production value, but they're scaling things down quite a bit. This is going to help them save money. This is going to help them produce more content. And hopefully good content. My hope is that more content does not equal bad content. I hope that the value or the quality stays the same. But yeah, they're putting a huge push into Disney Plus, into Hulu, into ESPN Plus. This gets me a little worried. This gets me just a skoge worried, Todd. I don't know how you feel, but I like this because it means that Disney is planning for the future and they're preparing for the future. But I got to be honest, this does not bode well for the movie theater industry. What do you think?
No, it doesn't. And obviously, their most recent move, taking Souls and pushing it to Disney Plus.
Yeah.
That's a bold move. That's heartbreaking. We actually talked about it last night, whether or not it was going to happen, or last week. You and I, and I completely I missed it. I really thought Disney was going to push the debacle that was.
Well, they were staying strong. So, like they doubled down on it. They were saying like, hey, no, we're holding Soul to its November 20th, like Thanksgiving release date, and then James Bond, No Time to Die. They pushed.
That pushed, Dune pushed. I mean, not just a little. These things are getting pushed back. It's a difficult thing to bank on getting out to see a movie in theaters when the studios just keep deciding we're going with the lion's share of what all the other studios are doing, and we're just going to push back our release dates. That's why I think it's really important. Like I mentioned, Christopher Nolan in theaters. I think those people need to step up and make their voices heard. What this means for Disney in terms of the future of their theatrical releases, I see them maybe kind of adopting more of a Netflix approach. They're going to start developing content that is designed to be seen on your television screen as opposed to a big theatrical production.
I agree.
Because Mulan was sweeping cinematography. It was a gorgeous looking picture, and it's a shame that I had to watch it on a 55-inch LCD. But hey, maybe this could be good for the home theater market. That you're going to start to see people step up and say, "Hey, I need that Atmos 7.1 surround sound system if I'm going to watch." I mean,
there's that. I don't necessarily think it's going to go that drastically in that direction. I mean, as much as I would love to put a Dolby Atmos surround sound system in my apartment, I'm pretty sure my neighbors would have some objections with that. But yeah, I mean, this is going back to what you were saying about Patty Jenkins. Like her statement was saying, like, we support the theaters. We need to get other people to support the theaters. I know the North American Theater Owners, or NATO. There was a huge push from them to get the rest of us to email and to write our senators, our local congressmen, and saying, hey, look, our theaters need help. We love the movie. It's not just about we love the movies. It's about, like, we need to save an entire industry. You're bailing, as you said, as we mentioned in the previous segment, banks are getting bailed out, restaurants are getting bailed out, small businesses getting bailed out, airlines being bailed out. How come, like, an entertainment industry, it's not called the entertainment industry for nothing. It's a full-on industry and it's not just movies. It's merchandising, it's food, it's marketing. The film industry has so many wide-reaching aspects. And, tying this all back to Disney, if I agree with what you're saying. Patty Jenkins made a very declarative statement saying that we need to support the movie theaters because without the movie theaters, the movie-going experience just won't exist, period, right?
Yeah.
But I have a question because she was very emphatic about it. It sounded like we're keeping our Christmas Day release. I don't actually think they're going to keep their Christmas Day release. If you listen to, or if you read what she said and how she said it, she was very much in support of movie theaters and theater going, but she didn't make any statements about Christmas Day. We are holding this release date. I don't know. It's scary, and I totally agree with you about Disney Plus making new content for this format. And I think because you live in a home, in a house out in the middle of Connecticut.
Yep.
So I feel like if everyone inside of the house is appreciative of a Dolby Atmos surround sound system, I think that something like that would be great, right? But for more inner city urban living, that's not. I don't think that option is necessarily gonna catch on. But yeah, man, I don't know what's gonna happen. Like I said, Disney is they're restructuring their entire company so that they're not putting so much focus on the big feature releases. They're putting their focus on Disney Plus. Anyway, what do you think about this? Jump down in the comment section below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Like, where do you stand? I mean, are you anything like me? Do you love Disney as much as I do? Because I'm a huge Disney file. I don't know if that's a term, but I love all things Disney. I don't know. I'm scared. What do you think? Jump down in the comment section below and let me know your thoughts. All right, guys. Woof. I slur my speech a lot when I get excited. Our next little bit of movie news here is come to us from Deadline. And this is actually kind of cool. I have a few thoughts about this, but a Mad Max spin-off series, not series, but film, a Furiosa. If you've seen Mad Max Fury Road, it didn't really star Tom Hardy as Mad Max. It kind of starred Charlize Theron as Furiosa. She was kind of arguably the main character, although not the titular character. She was pretty much the main character. Well, it's just been announced that Anya Taylor-Joy, if you're not familiar with Anya Taylor-Joy, she was in Split in Glass. She was kind of the main character of Split and, one of the main characters of Glass. I believe she was also in The Witch, the VVITCH, the Vavitch, as some people are calling it, The Witch movie. Haven't seen it, not gonna see it. I hear it's dreadful, but like in a good way. No thanks. I think this is a really cool move. They're doing kind of a pre-story. It's still being developed by George Miller. It also has Chris Hemsworth in it. They're not saying what role Chris Hemsworth is going to play. Maybe Mad Max? Hopefully not. I hope it's a completely new role. And also Yahya Abdul Mateen II. There's a name for you, Yahya Abdul Mateen II. If you're not familiar with Yahya Abdul Mateen II, in the Aquaman film, he played Black Manta. That was kind of like his big breakout role. I think this is kind of cool. And in my layman's perspective, if we get like a solo Furiosa movie, I feel like Furiosa is the kind of character that her backstory is so rich, and also the future of her story can be so interesting and engaging, because it's such an interesting world that George Miller has created, right? People have loved the three Mad Max movies for, 2 or 3 decades, and then he came out with a fourth one, Mad Max Fury Road, won awards, like Academy Awards. Brilliant movie. It's beautiful. It's intense. It's fun. It's action-packed. It makes really great commentary on things. And it's just a great film. And to see this character, to see her backstory, and hopefully, if this is as good as Fury Road was, it's possible we could get more Furiosa films, because Furiosa is the kind of character that people just loved. People just loved this character. I see this on the positive side, in that Furiosa could very much, and Todd, I don't know how much thought you've put into this, but I could definitely see how Furiosa could potentially be like, not like a James Bond character, but in the tradition of James Bond, or in the tradition of Jack Ryan, where with each new installment, we get a new actor playing the character. We don't have that for very many female protagonists. In fact, can you think of any other female protagonist characters that there's kind of a legacy series being portrayed by multiple different actors? I can't think of any.
Mary Poppins?
Mary Poppins, Julie Andrews, and Emily Blunt.
But no, you're right. I mean, those were just 2 movies. It's not even like we can say it was 3 or more. Yeah. So it's a series. I think that's a really fun idea. When I saw the casting, I was excited. I really liked her in Split. I wanted more of her in Glass. Yeah. She's also in the New Mutants, which I haven't seen. Oh,
that's right. Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, she's I can't think of her name. But yeah, go on.
Yep. My fear, though, if we're doing prequels to the Furiosa that we saw in Fury Road, is I'm going to be distracted along the lines of Hot Tub Time Machine. I'm going to be constantly looking for the Crispin Glover bellhop moment when he loses his arm.
Can you go into more detail about this? Because I'm not entirely sure I understand where you're going with this.
So Furiosa is missing her arm, as we see in Mad Max Fury Road. She's got like a mechanical arm. So if we're going to see her set in a period of time before Fury Road happened, are they going to give her that mechanical arm, or are we going to get the backstory of how she got the mechanical arm? And that kind of, I think, would be an intriguing story to tell, how she came to be the way that she was in Fury Road. But if they do that, I'm going to be on the edge of my seat waiting for that moment when, like, she's in a duel with a guy who's got a machete, and I'm like, oh, this is going to be it. He's going to pin her, and she's going to lose the arm. As they did in Hot Tub Time Machine with Crispin Glover's bellhop character. They kept baiting you with a bunch of near misses on when he actually loses the arm.
Interesting. Okay, so let me hypothesize this to you. What if, and this is a complete what if, total hypothesis here. What if they don't do it at all? And the whole movie, like, she just has 2 arms, and by the end of the movie, she still has 2 arms. But then, now that you're focused, like, as you're watching the movie for the first time, you're so focused on, when is she going to lose the arm? When is she going to lose the arm? That, two things. One, well, now we have to have a sequel. Now we have to have a sequel so we can find out how she loses her arm. But 2, you go back and rewatch the film a second time, a third time, so that you can catch the things that you missed the first time. Because again,
because you were hung up looking for the arm. Yeah, no, I agree. That's my fear. It would get in the way if she starts the movie with 2 flesh and bone arms. I'm going to have a hard time watching the movie because I'm going to be waiting for that moment.
See, I think that would be great. I would love for that to happen. You're waiting for the moment and it just never comes, because that's not what the story is about. Maybe the next story, and who knows, maybe this story could be about that as well. Like, we're just completely hypothesizing here and speaking out of our butts. But yeah, I don't know. I'm excited for.
Well, I mean, there is a lot of questions surrounding her character. I mean, what made her feel so protective of all those women? Where did that is it heroic? Is it self-serving? What's her backstory? So there's a lot that can be explored there. I mean, we certainly saw Tom Hardy's Mad Max did not start out the movie as a hero at all, and really was was more of an anti-hero, the reluctant guy who had to step in even though he didn't want to get involved.
Yeah, I think that sorry, I got distracted by one of my cats for a second. He walked in and said hello, and I'm like, what's happening? So yes, there's a lot to unpack there. There's that whole community. There's the whole story is how she got into like the slave business, or like it's a very ambiguous. It's the guy who's hoarding all the water. In the film, but then like the community of women that she came from, as you were saying, there's so much there. There's this world of turmoil, of upset, of yes, it's post-apocalyptic, but it's the kind of thing that I think it lends itself to really great storytelling, specifically in this world. Because I'm not a huge post-apocalyptic world kind of person. I don't love those kinds of stories, but I in this world, this world, I really find fascinating. But question is, what do you guys think? Are you excited for a Furiosa spin-off prequel film and story, or even maybe a potential series? Jump down to the comment section below and let me know your thoughts. All right, guys. In our next bit of movie news today, this is it's smaller. It's not the most grandiose, like mind-blowing, holy cow kind of thing, but The Matrix 4, as we all know, is coming. They're currently filming right now. The director, Lana Wachowski, one of the Wachowskis, she has developed a brand new style of filming. Now, as with the first Matrix film, it came out and it blew everybody's minds away. I didn't see it for like a year or 2 years after it came out. But when I did get to go see it for the first time, I like that whole bullet style of filming. It was crazy. Nobody had ever seen anything like that before. We watched it on screen and we thought, how in the world did like our knee-jerk reaction was not, how did you film this? Our knee-jerk reaction was, that is the coolest thing I've ever seen. And then you watch it a second time, a third time, a fourth time, and then you start wondering, like, how in the world did they film this? Well, one of the actors on set, and hold on, let me scroll down here. This is rather interesting. One of the actors from the movie, Jessica Henwick, whom you've seen in the Iron Fist television show and also Game of Thrones. She's in the film, and she had this to say when she was interviewed about the film. She said, there are definitely moments on set where Yahya Abdul-Mateen, who we just spoke about, who's going to be in the upcoming Furiosa prequel, there are definitely moments on set where Yahya Abdul-Mateen II and I look at each other and we just go, Matrix 4. Those pinch me moments. Yeah, Lana Wachowski is doing some really interesting things on a technical level in the same way that, she created a style back then, referring to the original Matrix film. I think she's going to change the industry again with this film. There are some camera rigs that I've never seen before that we're using. That's probably all I can say for that. So here she is. Here's Jessica Henwick on the set of Matrix 4 talking about this new revolutionary style of filmmaking. We don't know what it is yet. She can't actually come out and officially say what it is that they're doing, what it is that they're filming, or how they're filming it. But this is going to change. As she says she thinks this is going to change the industry in terms of filmmaking. What does that say to you, Todd? And how much salt can we take with each grain?
Yeah, I mean, for lightning to strike twice, God bless him. I hope it's true. Because, like you said, that bullet time style of filmmaking, just how imaginative and creative you had to be to it was incredible. It was such a stunning achievement that they had created there. And to think they're going to be able to do it again in the same franchise, and change the way filmmakers consider how they go about their duty as a filmmaker, how and the timing and the camera placement and the rigs to reinvent. I mean, I love that stuff. I geek out on that. I think what they're able to do with special effects in camera versus doing it CGI and post. I think it's so much more creative and inspiring when they're able to do it.
Lord of the Rings was arguably the first behind-the-scenes documentary style, I guess behind the scenes, that we ever really got to see in depth. We really, after we saw the movies, and then we bought them all on DVD and Blu-ray, or I guess before Blu-ray came out, on the extended editions, they had so many appendices on the DVDs, and also some really fun Easter eggs hidden on the DVDs themselves. But they had some of arguably the best behind the scenes filmmaking of the film, which actually turned out to be twice as long as the film itself. This is how we made the movies, and I loved them. But before any of those came out, there were some behind the scenes things that came out from The Matrix, from the original Matrix film. It was on the DVD, and I remember for the first time, The Matrix was the fourth DVD I ever owned. My first and second was Contact and U571. I bought them simultaneously. The third film I ever owned was Disney's Recess, School's Out, the movie. Do you remember?
I don't think I've ever even heard of that one.
It's an animated film. It was based on their television show Recess. It was like a bunch of like third graders and I don't know, whatever. It was silly, but I really enjoyed it at the time. And then the fourth film I ever owned on DVD was The Matrix. And on the DVD, it was because again, like when DVD was new, previously, all we had was VHS. You have the tape, you put it in, you watch like 3 or 4 previews and maybe a few commercials at the beginning just before the movie starts. And then you get the FBI warning, don't you dare reproduce this. And then the movie starts. But then with DVD, you had this incredible, and I will even go so far to say that The Matrix, the original Matrix film, kind of helped shape and form what special features on a DVD platform could be. They even had Easter eggs on there. They had a music-only track. Do you remember this? Did you ever own it on DVD?
I never owned the DVD, but I remember going over to a friend's house. He got a new subwoofer, and we didn't watch the entire thing, but he was so excited to show me the lobby scene and then the elevator explosion. Like, sit on the couch, feel the whole thing shake. Yeah. So that was one of my first experiences with DVD. That and Con Air, which I actually think.
Wow.
Over to a friend's house. He did not have a DVD player, but he had a computer with a DVD drive. So we watched it on a computer monitor.
Wow. That's some old school right there. That's old school. I mean, like at the time you had to do what you had to do, right? But I remember.
But the notion of interactive menus and chapter selection, fast forward or rewind, and when you were done, you just popped out the disc. You didn't have to hit rewind. You didn't have to everybody's mind.
Like, I mean, now we're living in the age of streaming and on demand, this and that, and blah blah blah. But like at the time, that was so revolutionary. And the Matrix DVD, I argue, helped shape what those special features could be and what they could look like, because there was the White Rabbit. You had to search through. They had an Easter egg where you had to go through every menu of the whole DVD thing to find the White Rabbit. You had to go to the screen, navigate up, down, left, right. Nope, it's not there. Next screen, up, down, left, right. Nope, it's not there. Until you found that little Easter egg in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen. Bloop, there it is, and then it took you into this new interactive experience. It was the craziest thing. It was
That's really cool.
So anyway,
another good one was Christopher Nolan's Memento. I don't think it was on the Region 1 DVDs, but I think on the European versions, there was an Easter egg that would unlock it so you could watch the chapters in reverse order.
Come on. That's brilliant. Come on. Mm-hmm. What a great idea. And anyway, like this is all the kind of stuff. The Matrix has always been kind of a symbol for innovation. The Wachowskis, I mean, like, say what you will about their, other catalog of films. Like Matrix 2, the first half was awesome. The second half was garbage. And the third film was just terrible altogether. The Animatrix, yeah, it was okay, I guess. I don't know, whatever. I loved Speed Racer. It's not regarded as a very good movie, but again, the cinema.
I think more recent reviews have been kinder to it. At the time, it got panned. So bad that I to this day still haven't seen it. But I've heard more recent reviews and people who have a genuine affinity for it. They thought it was great when it came out and love it today.
It's a little long, but other than that, it's a fun ride. It's a fun movie. Other films and projects of theirs, some have been great, like Sense8. Everybody has just raved about Sense8. But then you have other films, like, what was that Tom Hanks outer space futuristic something or other? That did not go over well. I can't think of the name of it. Jupiter Ascending.
Yeah, the one where he comes back to Earth and he's piloting
Jupiter Ascending. No, that wasn't Tom Hanks. That was. Yeah. Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, so some other stuff has been great. Some hasn't. No, Oblivion was Tom Hanks. Tom Cruise. But speaking of Tom Cruise, that's actually kind of the perfect segue here. Before we start talking about more Tom Cruise stuff, I want to throw it to you guys. And what do you think about this? Are you excited? First of all, are you excited for a Matrix 4 film? I personally am not excited for a Matrix 4 film. However, I'm kind of interested to see what this new filmmaking style is. I mean, it's not the biggest news in the world to say or to hear actress is excited to be in movie because of new innovations. I mean, it's okay, take it with a grain of salt. The person who is working on the movie herself is excited about things that are happening on set. I mean, we saw this with Richard E. Grant when he walked out of the premiere, or not even the premiere, it was like the private screening of Rise of Skywalker. He had the private screening of Rise of Skywalker. He took a selfie video of himself and he was crying. He was crying at how good and how moving it was. And it got everybody so excited and like, oh my goodness, this is going to be the movie of all movies. And then we went to go see it and it was like, it was kind of fun, I guess, but it wasn't great. Not a good movie. Richard E. Grant, stop tricking us. Anyway, but yeah, where do you guys sit with The Matrix 4? Are you excited? Are you not excited? Are you somewhere in between? Jump down to the comment section below and let me know your thoughts. Okay, so as we previously said, we had mentioned Tom Cruise, and we were saying there was more Tom Cruise stuff to come. Well, apparently, Mission Impossible 7 has returned to Italy. They were currently filming in Italy back in February when the coronavirus pandemic was really, really bad, and they had to completely cease filming. They had to stop filming altogether. Well, now, the Mission Impossible 7 franchise, or set, or production crew, they have returned to Italy to continue filming their film. And I want to play a little video clip here. This comes from the Associated Press. I think they put this out yesterday. Maybe it was today. I don't know. It doesn't matter. But it is live video. It is actual video of Tom Cruise on set of whatever it is they're filming. So let's go ahead and talk about it. And yeah, let's see what everybody thinks. All right, so here you can see Tom Cruise kind of, I think he pulled somebody off of a car. He's crawling across the car, opens a car door, and who does he pull out but Haley Atwell? There's Haley Atwell there coming out of the car. Oh, and there's Todd.
He's still spry. He just sprung over the hood of that car like it was nothing.
There you can get a great shot of Haley Atwell. You know, police coming down. Again, I don't know if this is security for the film set or if it's, you know, actually part of the movie. Tom Cruise waving at people. As he does. Dun, 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 Tom Cruise, ambassador. Yeah, so it's just a lot of scenes and shots of them, you know, kind of like rehearsing this scene, getting various camera angles. They kind of have to keep, it looks like they have to kind of keep doing this same bit over and over and over again so that they can, you know, get the shots that they need.
You know, Tom Cruise is always such a daredevil with his stunts. It wouldn't surprise me at all if it was one of those things where he's like, okay, where is the virus exploding right now? Where is the hot zone?
Right.
We're going to go film there. The virus to kill everyone in the world.
Man.
Mission Impossible fall back.
You know, I argue that Mission Impossible 2, while not a good Mission Impossible film, it was a fun action movie. It's kind of in this, I mean, it was directed by John Woo. You know, John Woo also doing what you previously mentioned, Con Air, Face Off. Like, he's a fun, high action, high octane kind of filmmaker. And that's exactly what Mission Impossible 2 was. It's a really bad Mission Impossible film, but it's just a really fun, high action, high octane. This is completely ridiculous. I actually will defend Mission Impossible 2 from a lot of the naysayers. First of all, where do you fall in Mission Impossible 2? And two, like, what are your knee-jerk reactions of this Associated Press stuff?
So I was working in my teenage movie theater when the first Mission Impossible came out. Saw it at least 15 times when it came out. Were disappointed that the Peter Graves character from the original series.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
Has
yeah.
Mission Impossible 7. I mean, if they're going to follow the parachute jump,
came very close. Yeah.
I mean, that was just insane. Mission Impossible franchise. I love Tandy in it. I think she does a phenomenal job. I like the bad guy is, you know, like what they did with Michael Biehn in James Bond, where he's a former ally and colleague. I thought that was a neat premise. The action was certainly fun to watch, but the one glaring thing that I can't not notice is the way the motorcycle tires keep changing from on-road to off-road tires in that movie. I find it so distracting.
That's the thing that you find distracting of that film.
It's picayune to some people, probably to most, but for me, and not like I'm a huge motocross guy or I don't even ride a motorcycle, never have in my life. But when I know the difference between a street tire and an off-road tire, and when I see that, it's just so glaring that I can't look away, and it pulls me right out.
That's incredible. Moment. I love that so much. It's my father was a firearms collector when I was young and growing up. He just loved He loved guns, so he collected them. And whenever we'd watch a movie where people bang, 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 shoot him up, he'd say, "Oh no, that's not how that model works." And I'm like, why would you know that? Like, who cares? It's a gun. Shoot the bad guy. And but now in like my adult life, whenever I see movies that or scenes in a movie that take place on an airplane, I always pick it apart. I'm like, oh, those aisles are way too wide. You would never have an aisle that wide on that particular style of aircraft. Or the procedure for getting into the flight deck. Oh, that's not, no. That's not correct. That's not how that works. That's not how that goes down. Anyway, but yeah, I pick apart those kinds of things as well.
The jump seat in the cockpit looks nothing like that. It's a completely
different
different
galley
fabric.
that big on an airplane? That would be a dream. Are you kidding me? Come on, you could break dance in that galley. You can't break dance on a 737 galley. What are you talking about? Yeah. So yeah, it's the same thing, but I'm excited that, first of all, I'm excited that Mission Impossible is back filming again. But it also raises some questions, as we had previously talked about, and is kind of a theme of the show, I guess, today. With no movie theaters opening, and with no movie theaters showing new movies, and with the potential of movie theaters shutting down, am I going to have to watch Mission Impossible 7 on my television at home? This is, I mean, I love hearing, hey, production for Jurassic World has started back up again. Hey, production for The Batman has started back up again. Hey, production for Mission Impossible 7 and 8 have started back up again. Great. Awesome. I'm really excited about that. But I'm also a little worried. I mean, I get it. All the movie theaters that we have in New York City, like if you want to go to a decent theater, it's either AMC or it's Regal. There's a few Cinemarks. There in Brooklyn, I know there's an Alamo Draft House. There's a few kind of more indie movie theaters around, but for the most part, if you want to go to like a main movie theater, it's AMC or it's Regal. And if we don't,
I mean, we have I think Cinemark is probably one of the bigger ones in Connecticut. So, but I don't want to hear from anybody that they have to drive, an hour or two to get to a decent theater. I remember when The Dark Knight came out, and designed. It's an amazingly immersive experience. You have to do it. Yeah. And at the time, there were no IMAX theaters for me to be had less than 2 hours away.
And it makes all the difference in the world. It's the experience. It's the opportunity. I don't know how else to say it. It's the experience. There's no replacing that experience. I can't remember what my first IMAX movie was. I remember going to like the Dome IMAX Science Center, like the Carnegie Science Center in Pittsburgh. It was like a school field trip. We all went down and we had to and if you've ever been in one of those huge Dome IMAX theaters, as a child, it is ridiculously intimidating. When you're walking down the aisle to get to your seat, you feel like you're going to fall forward because the whole thing is on like a vertical slant.
Steep. Stadium
super steep.
Yeah.
So you feel like you're going to fall over, so you're terrified of that. But then I remember sitting in the seats. It was like a 30-minute movie about beavers, like creating a beaver dam. And it was the most breathtaking experience I had ever had, like in a theater. And that was that before Jurassic Park? I want to say it was.
What grade were you in?
Man, I want to say 4th grade. So it's what, like 10 years old? So yeah. Mm-hmm. I think that would have been pre-Jurassic Park. I think it was anyway, but like it was crazy. It was awesome. It was immersive. It was beautiful, and I had never experienced anything quite like that before. But yeah, the opportunity to have those experiences, they're kind of dwindling, and I love the Mission Impossible franchise. I love it, and like you said, when we saw the first one directed by Brian De Palma back in 1996. that, like, to me, that was the summer blockbuster movie. That was the movie to go see that summer. And it blew my mind. I used to watch the original television show, like the old reruns. We used to watch Mission Impossible 88, again with Peter Graves. Not great, not as good as the original series, but it was still fun. And yeah, I ate that movie up. Mission Impossible 2, meh. And I just
thought of something that kind of ties this all together. I think one of my first IMAX experiences was at the Boston Science Center, where they had an IMAX theater, and it was Leonard Nimoy, who was also in the original Mission Impossible series, narrating, I think it was a Grand Canyon panoramic experience, where it feels like you're flying through the Grand Canyon.
What a special thing, too. Like, truly, genuinely, what a special thing. Because, like, I don't like. I assume schools still go to like blah 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 science centers, and they still go to see like these IMAX movies and whatever. But I don't know if they actually do. But as a kid, that was such a special thing. Like, to have that field trip opportunity and to be with all of your friends and all of your classmates, and you go watch these 30-minute silly movies. At the time, it was truly special. I think a lot of the speciality has worn off because we have like regular things like IMAX theaters. We have regular things like the Dolby Atmos theater. We even have in-home theaters. Internet is not dial-up anymore, Like, when you and I were in
Thank God.
when we were in middle school, having to use dial-up internet, that was like, I still remember the sound of it. Like, we all remember that sound, right?
Yeah, and I remember when it was the first time I heard a 56K baud modem, just how drastically different that sounded connecting than any of the ones prior.
Man. Like, how times have changed and how youth has changed. And the movie-going experience, and I get it. You and I, we're in like that mid-range like demographic where Disney doesn't necessarily care about us as much. Like, for the Marvel, for the comic book stuff, okay, yeah, sure, maybe like we're a big draw, or like the stuff that they put out is a draw to us. But I get it. They're worried more about like the younger demographic. One of our guests on the show, Katie Hammond, pointed out to me the other day that with James Bond, No Time to Die, I hate the Billie Eilish song. I hate it. I think it's absolutely terrible. But it's also not marketed to me because I'm going to go see the movie. The people who make James Bond movies know my demographic is already going to go see it because you know why? James Bond. So they need a younger draw. They need something to pull people out, and hence Billie Eilish. Which, I mean, from a marketing perspective is genius. I think it's terrible.
Right.
I don't like it. But hey, it's not for me. I get it. I understand that. Where was I going with this? I was making a point. I was building my argument, and
the times they are a-changing. Disney doesn't. Our money still spends, but they're not targeting stuff at our demographic anymore.
It's true. Anyway, we got way off topic. Mission Impossible 7. I'm looking forward to it. I don't know where I'm going to be able to see it. I hope it's going to be in a theater. Todd, final thoughts.
Yeah, gotta do it in a theater. Got to be a summertime blockbuster. Even if it pushes it out to 2022, 2023. Do the movie justice and let it be seen the way the filmmakers wanted it to be seen, on the screen that they made it for.
I agree. On a screen that they made it for. Ladies and gentlemen, what do you think about Mission Impossible 7? First of all, do you think it's smart for them to continue filming the way that they are filming? I mean, they're currently filming in Italy, where, the pandemic was some of the worst in the early stages. Also, are you looking forward to it? How do you think you are going to be able to see this movie? Jump down to the comment section below and let me know your thoughts. All right, guys, we have finally reached the portion of the show where we're going to take your live questions in a segment we call Live Questions.
Alive! It's alive! It's alive!
All right, guys, this is Live Questions, and you have been firing in live questions all show long. So if you are watching this right now, jump down to the comment section below and be part of the conversation. Tell us what you think. Let's start a dialogue here. And our first comment comes from Robbie Spratt, all the way out in Salt Lake City. How you doing, Robbie? Robbie says, you guys are exactly describing my experience with The Matrix as well. I think it was the second DVD I ever owned. The first was Twister. I was blown away by all the special features and Easter eggs. It truly was revolutionary in every way. Yeah, I mean, again, I remember that DVD. I remember navigating the screen. And I think earlier I was talking about there was, and I'd never seen this before, the concept kind of blew my mind. There was there was a music-only option if you wanted to watch the movie, but without the dialogue, without the Foley artist sounds in the background. It's just the score of the film.
That's a neat idea.
So you watch the movie and the score's playing. That's it. It was so cool. Have you seen anything like that, Todd?
I had a friend who ruined a plasma television because he kept falling asleep watching a movie. And when that would happen, the DVD would return to the main menu, which if it wasn't an animated menu, it was just a static image. And that created image burn on the plasma TV that, back then was a several $1,000 item.
Yikes. Yeah, I mean, we don't really have that much of a problem nowadays with because the vast majority, I think, is LED screens, and it's much harder to burn out your screen with an LED image, but
right.
At the same time, like, technology